Well, Dr. Shetlin here with Joe Kryszak, and he is an expert working with Sterling Professional in all things CBD. He is just a guru in the history and knowledge and usefulness of these products and how us doctors can leverage them without even having to have them in our office, where we can leverage through his business to have patients order directly, because in some states it's tough for us to carry CBD products. In other states it's fine. But he has the secret sauce on how to do it in all the states. Gem of a human being. I've met him at so many different seminars, and just his personality, his ethics, his drive to help the profession is outstanding. So let me just turn it over to Joe. If you can just run with it.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. J. Super glad to meet you too. You're an expert in all things, including Portugal. So thank you for the tips before we flew out there.
Nice.
Because you helped us out. But Sterling Professional, we presented in Utah in the springtime and wanted to share some of the highlights of that presentation, all things CBD. So Sterling Professional, 3 things that are important, whether it's Sterling or another company. You really want to look for 4 important things that make a difference. Number 1, testing. So we don't sell to anyone except for doctors, professional offices. And so we have a much higher standard than the competition, right? So testing is super important with Sterling or any other CBD company that you're interested in. I'm going to talk very briefly about solventless extraction, nanotechnology, and GMP certified. I like to say that everything a doctor sells in his office is a representation of him and is a representation of his office. So you need to make sure you're partnering with somebody that you can trust and your patients can trust to align and help out your patients in 3 main areas that we'll jump into. I'm going to start off with some market dynamics. 26% of Americans use CBD in 2024. That means 1 out of every 4 of the patients who walk in your door bought CBD in 2024. It's a huge market, great growth opportunity, 22% growth. Our message is your patients are already buying, in many cases, poor quality, untested CBD in the market. There are some good other manufacturers out there, but a lot of stuff that you find in strip malls, at the gas station, you do not want your customers buying it for a number of reasons that we'll go into. And the good news is that your average DC office makes about $15,000 profit per year selling Sterling. We want to make it easy for you, and we'll talk about some of the ways that we can help you drive profit in your business while helping out your patients. Our message, pretty simple: better formulations, more CBD, and with great pricing for the patients. Why would you consider carrying CBD? According to the National Institute of Health, the 3 main categories and the 3 main indications why people buy CBD is number 1, pain and inflammation. Number 2, stress and anxiety. And number 3 is sleep issues. Same study, pretty interesting. How well do you feel CBD treats your medical condition? 95.3% of people say well or very well. There are some reasons why CBD might not work well for some of your patients, most likely because they have built up an immunity to it, because they were playing around with it when they were in high school and have built up immunity to it. But amazing products that helps out people with, again, pain, sleep, and anxiety. So there's a lot of confusion in CBD, right? Part of the message when I go to conventions and I'm coaching is CBD and the hemp plant has been around and humans have used it for millennia. And it's not designed, the reason why CBD and hemp is created and why it's so beneficial is not because it gets you high. Like 90% of our products have no THC in it. The only products that have a little bit of THC is our sleep gummies. We have sleep gummies, a little bit of THC, some sleep gummies without a THC. So to be super clear, our products are clean. They are not designed to break the blood-brain barrier. But there's a lot of confusion sometimes with cannabis, marijuana, and hemp, what is the difference between the three? So a really good example that we put together is up top here we have a species, right? So the species is a canine. Through selective breeding, humans are smart, or should I say there are some smart humans.
There you go.
There's a canine, and through selective breeding, you take a wolf that likes to swim, breed it with a wolf that likes to swim. Down through generations, you breed a Labrador, bred for hunting, fishing, and companionship. Similarly, a Labrador and a Chihuahua, exact same DNA. They're the same species, both canines. But through selective breeding, you get a Chihuahua used for ancient ceremonies and more recently for annoying celebrities to carry around. Sorry if you got a Chihuahua. Similarly, the cannabis is the species, right? So the cannabis plant is a species. And through selective breeding, humans have developed two main breeds. One is hemp. So a hemp plant's amazing, right? It's huge. It's like 16 feet wide by 16 feet tall, grows very fast. The key to hemp is it has to have less than 0.3% THC from seed to production to sale, all through the system, less than 0.3% THC. So very, very little THC with little to no psychoactive effects. That's what we sell. That's what's federally legal. Compared to marijuana, if you see a healthy marijuana plant, it's not a huge plant. It's, much smaller, much thinner. But a healthy marijuana plant, sometimes the branches are bent over because the buds on them are so big. Marijuana was bred to maximize the bud, maximize the high. I don't believe in what humans have done to the cannabis plant creating marijuana, because it does not help out in a number of areas. It doesn't have the same benefits. It doesn't have the same systemic effects. Does not help with pain and inflammation as well as the hemp plant does. And then similarly, brassica, oleander, cabbage, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, all literally the same plant, the same DNA.
Wow.
But again, just to be super clear, we are talking about the federally legal hemp plant. I can ship this across borders. I can ship this across state lines. You can sell it to patients. It is not, it's federally legal. Speaking to some of the law, of some of the rules and regulations, I want to talk real quick about some famous cannabis growers. Number one, George Washington. This is actual quote: "Make the most you can of the Indian hemp seed and sow it everywhere." George Washington grew the hemp plant at Mount Vernon for rope, for clothing, for shoes, for sails, for the early American Navy. So very, very awesome. George Washington. Thomas Jefferson. Hemp is the first necessity to the wealth and protection of the country. Founding fathers grew hemp.
So you're saying our founding fathers used this plant for all kinds of purposes, clothing, whatever, and for healing. Is that what you're telling us?
Shoes, yeah, absolutely. They people have been using the hemp plant for millennia. It actually is the very first crop that humans domesticated, because it solved all the problems. It would feed the animals. Animals would eat it. The sheep, the cow, the goats. They'd use it for rope, clothing, tents, everything that early humans would need. Founding fathers used it because it was for the wealth and protection of the country. It provided a lot of industrial resources that helped early Americans out, and people would use it as a early anti-inflammatory. As opposed to now, when you think of a famous cannabis grower, you think of Cheech and Chong, right? So this is, and this part of the message I'm really trying to get across is we do not sell to the guys on the right. We sell this product that helps people in a myriad of ways without the psychoactive effects of THC.
Mm-hmm.
So is CBD safe and legal? So everything that Sterling sells is safe and legal because, number one, it's made from industrial hemp. Number two, it is less than 0.3% THC by weight. We have strict labeling and warning requirements. It has, we're state certified. So we get tested, our products get tested to make sure that it doesn't have any too much THC in it. Pretty interesting. WHO says that CBD does not appear to have potential for abuse or cause harm. There's never been one indication of somebody using straight CBD who's got a DUI or an overdose. There are two counterindications for CBD. One is people on a blood thinner. So like Coumadin, CBD is a natural slight blood thinner. So if people are on prescription blood thinner, they should check with their doctor first. And then pregnancy, even though you have these chemicals and many of these chemicals in your body already, pregnancy is such a special time in people's lives, they should definitely check with their doctor first. And then kind of cool, in 2020, the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency approved straight CBD, no THC, but straight CBD for use for U.S. Olympic athletes. They found that it reduced the use of NSAIDs, reduced the use of over-the-counter anti-inflammatories. So even U.S. Olympic athletes can use super pure CBD like Sterling.
Great stuff. So I think that's important for the docs to know when they're going to deal with any products and recommend them to patients. Just like the medical doctors need to know the effects, side effects, and what the interactions with other things, other drugs are. We're not in the chiropractic profession dealing with the drugs, but we need to know, well, what are the effects and side effects of something like garlic is also a blood thinner. And we need to know if we're prescribing nutritional things or CBD for our patients, well, what are some of the good things that come, like natural blood thinning, so that they have those cautions to talk to with their medical doctor as well. I don't know. What are your takes on that?
Yeah, so it's super clean, very few counterindications. But again, we want to make sure that we're suggesting the right protocol for the patients and have the insight to help them and guide them into the right selection for to achieve the goals that you're looking for.
Right. The doctors just need to be educated on that. Another example I would use is a lot of times people are on blood thinners or on the heart medications, but if we're recommending that they use L-arginine, which helps naturally relax arterial walls and lower blood pressure naturally, well, if you're doing that to somebody that's already taking a Coumadin or taking the statin drugs, they could see effects where they get lightheaded or blood. So we need to be prepared for that stuff. That's all I'm saying is doctors need to not just, I would encourage the doctors to be very well educated, to ask you questions, make sure they're just really skilled in CBD, its benefits, and how it can affect the body so that they know other things to watch for. So that, anyway, that's all I'm trying to say. I'll trim out what I...
Good segue. So one thing, again, we sell to professional offices. One thing that separates Sterling on each one of our products, you'll find a little QR code. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk real briefly about what that little QR code does and what it means for building patient trust.
Every Sterling product has undergone third-party testing to test its CBD content, THC content, proving if the product has THC in it or not, mycotoxins, heavy metals, and pesticides. And Sterling believes in transparency. That is why every product you purchase has a QR code in it. That QR code contains the link to our certificates of analysis, a page in our website, where you will find the proofs that our products are pure, proven and tested by professionals. You can do it in 3 easy steps. First, find the QR code in the product label. Second, scan the QR code using your mobile phone. Third, click the link that will pop on your phone screen that will bring you to the certificates of analysis page. Once you're there, just search for the product you bought. You have an option to view or download it.
So we spend a lot of money
the document
on testing.
will look like this.
Not only test CBD, we spend a lot of money on testing, right? So we want to make sure that the CBD that we say is in there is in there. All of our lotions are no THC. We need to prove that. But also the plant, as I mentioned earlier, the hemp plant grows so fast. It does an amazing job of bringing in nutrients from the soil, both nutrients you want and potentially toxins. So we test every single batch for mycotoxins, heavy metals, pesticides, and fungi to make sure that you know that you're getting super, super clean product. I'm going to spend 2 minutes on extraction because it is another differentiator for us. If you're looking for super pure product, extraction is just as important as the material and the biomass that you're getting, because the extraction, so we use solventless extraction. Our extraction process, we just use, we're not using ethanol, we're not using CO2, we literally just use ice water and air, which freezes the trichomes and makes super, super pure product, similar to some other manufacturers like a standard process. We use a whole spectrum of the plant in there that helps out people. So why would we go through that process to make super clean product? Because there's two main types of cannabinoids. One is CBD. CBD is non-psychoactive, does not show up on the blood test. And then THC is psychoactive and will show up on the blood test in blood tests. So if you have a doctor or a police officer, again, the only products that have a little bit of THC is our sleep gummies. So if somebody is looking for a good night's sleep, definitely recommend the ones with no THC in there as opposed to the ones with a little bit of THC in there. Although studies have shown that low dose THC helps the mind relax, slows down the body a little bit, so you get a great night's sleep. And our sleep gummies are magic, but really two main components within the cannabinoids. Because the cannabinoids, I want to talk briefly about the endocannabinoid system. So we've all heard of these body systems: skeletal, circulatory, respiratory, digestive. Well, in 1992, they discovered that you have an endocannabinoid system. The endocannabinoid system is the newest system discovered in the human body. And it does some pretty amazing things that we'll speak to briefly on how the endocannabinoid system functions and how it helps regulate your body. According to Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Harvard Medical, the endocannabinoid system is the most important system in your body to create homeostasis, to create balance. I got some great examples of the endocannabinoid system at work and what its clear function is. But in the meantime, I think PBS did a pretty good job describing the endocannabinoid system. So I just have a 2.5 minute video that I'll share with you real quick that talks about the endocannabinoid system and how it helps out people. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Binds to receptor in neuroscience. Cannabis opened the window into the functioning of our body. Completely unexpected window, because what was discovered was that THC binds to receptors in the brain and outside the brain. And when it does so, when it binds to these receptors, the cells now behave differently.
Cannabinoid receptors, named after cannabis, are found on nearly every organ in the body. They bind with our own cannabis-like molecules called endocannabinoids, which regulate functions like sleep, cognition, memory, and mood. Unlike other brain chemicals, they travel backwards across the synapse, where they control the release of most neurotransmitters.
One of the most amazing things that happened was the discovery of the endocannabinoid system. Every mammal has one, and this is a system of chemicals and receptors throughout the brain and body. And really, the primary goal of the endocannabinoid system is homeostasis, keeping things in balance.
At Mount Sinai Hospital, neuroscientist Yasmin Hurd remembers the first time she looked for cannabinoid receptors in the human brain. Seen here in vivid red, orange, and yellow colors.
The cannabinoid receptor is the most abundant receptor in the brain. When we looked at where these receptors were expressed, they're expressed in brain regions relevant for motor coordination, cognition, memory, emotional regulation, reward. All of these brain areas are key to so many normal behaviors, obviously, but also psychiatric disorders as well.
A key role of the endocannabinoid system is to manage stress. In fact, the first endocannabinoid found in our body was given a Sanskrit name, anandamide, meaning bliss.
In response to stress, our body mobilizes an endocannabinoid signal. And so if something aversive happens to us and we suddenly see a threat in front of us, our body kind of goes into high alert mode and we shoot up. Once we've been removed from that threat, though, our body needs to turn that stress response back off. And what we have learned is that this burst of endocannabinoids that occurs in response to stress is really critical for that recovery phase.
Scientists suspect this signal goes awry in people with PTSD. And that's why THC,
So
which mimics our own
amazing
endocannabinoids,
information, right? So it talked about a number of things. Number one, the most abundant receptor in the brain is the endocannabinoid system. Think about the resources that your body puts into putting all those receptors in there. It also functions very importantly in your gut, in your digestive system, and does a number of amazing things. And I want to talk to you about some specific indications or some specific actions that the endocannabinoid system does, because it really allows your organs and tissues to talk to each other. It is the way that cells talk to other cells, organs talk to other organs. Again, as you learned from the video, working retroactively, providing feedback in a feedback loop. So a great example is you have too much acid in your stomach. Like, how does your stomach tell your parietal cells that it has enough acid? And stop. Endocannabinoid system working retroactively. It sends a signal through your endocannabinoid system, stop producing acid. Another great example, CBD has been known for decades to help people with epilepsy. What happens to epilepsy? Brain firing too fast, So how does one neuron tell another neuron, stop, I got enough information, slow your roll? Specifically for chiropractors, CBD does a great job at helping your muscles and joints, telling your immune system to stop producing histamines, right? So it is your regulation system, and it helps your body protect itself by communicating backwards through the endocannabinoid system. I have some great links to research on the bottom if you want to do some more research on your own. But great information on from Harvard National Institute of Health on your endocannabinoid system at work, because it is an amazing function that aligns perfectly in the chiropractic space, because it's a natural, holistic way for the body to help heal itself.
Well, it sounds, a lot of our doctors are working in the personal injury field where people have trauma and some PTSD from the car crash. So just the three things you pointed out there, with helping deal with stress, helping deal with sleep so they're healing up better, that they're calming their mind and not going back over the crash over and over again, and just natural anti-inflammation, which we're all dealing with, medical and chiropractors, we're all dealing with inflammation, how it's just it's a hurdle we all have to get over with our patients to help them move forward and reduce the pain and the suffering. And so we know how our responses and our treatments are working better when it's not clouded by inflammation that's creating a whole bunch of other symptoms. So those are three really powerful benefits.
Yeah, and think you do give a patient an amazing adjustment. They walk out, they feel great, but then they're full of stress, full of cortisol the rest of the day, right? What does that do to your adjustment? It affects it. and makes the body tighten again. If you help out a patient and they feel great walking out, give a great adjustment, and they can't fall asleep, they're tossing and turning, guess what? Your patient is not going to be happy because they're wake up not getting good sleep, waking up on their side, and really counteracting all the benefits and all the good stuff that you're doing to help them out. So those are all perfect things that align to continuing to improve your patient's health. I'm going to talk really quick about, we're running out of time here. We're going to talk really quick about our portfolio. Best-selling products, number one, magnesium balm. So what's cool about our magnesium balm, we get our magnesium from Dead Sea salt, so it's super bioavailable. Magnesium is wonderful anti-inflammatory. It has 2,500 milligrams of CBD, but to be honest with you, one thing that we do, because we work with doctors, you guys help us out with our formulations and what are the right ingredients to put in there. So magnesium balm, magnesium, arnica, eucalyptus, cinnamon, clove. To tie into the Dead Sea theme, we have even put a little bit of frankincense and myrrh in there. Amazing anti-inflammatory. Muscle gel. So muscle gel's got a slight warming and cooling effect. It's not hot like a icy hot or a biofreeze, but you definitely get a good warmth in there. Witch hazel, camphor, menthol, ginger root, white willow bark. And then our sleep gummies are magic. We've gotten so many people off of Ambien and other prescription sleep products that really aren't good for the brain. A lot of stuff that is sold, a lot of prescriptions to help people sleep. You don't get good REM sleep. It shuts the brain down. The only thing that's working is your lizard brain. People wake up sleepwalking, but this is a natural way with CBD just to help the brain and the body slow down a little bit so you get a good night's sleep. We got some new products. Methylene Blue is hot right now, and some mushroom gummies. Focus Energy with lion's mane. These are all CBD free. Stress relief. Ashwagandha gummies with reishi, ashwagandha, rhodelia. So these are doing really, really well for us also. But most importantly is we got some tinctures. There's a great opportunity to build your portfolio and add sales to a patient. We do three things to help out chiropractors. We know you're busy, you're running HR, you're running your staff, you're helping out patients. You don't got a lot of time to sit and discuss products with a patient. So what we do is three things. Number one, we send out plenty of samples for new offices so they can hand out to their patients. Number two, we'd love to train the staff on the products, what the indications are for each of our products and what works best. And then number three, we have some nice merchandising materials that you can put in your office. But if you're just selling 5 units a day, that's $54,000 in yearly profit. And I guarantee you get some samples, you put samples in your patient's hands, you use it in a therapy session, tell them to walk out the door with one on the way out. It's an easy sale because it's priced right. It has very effective and it helps out your patients. So great opportunity for to grow your business and add $30 a patient that is walking in the door, because again, guess what? They're already buying it somewhere else. Three things, and then I'll wrap it up. Number one, we're trusted nationwide. We do a lot of training. Again, presented it in Utah. Great organization. We're in scores of offices there. Love being associated with the Utah Chiropractic Association. Key is you can trust us, you can trust our products, and if you're interested, we'd love to talk to you more about how we can work together. There's 2 ways really to work with us. Number one, we have our lotions and THC free, easy to sell. Sleep gummies are easy. So carry like the couple best-selling products in your office, but on top of that, we can send you a QR code, send out to your patients. They can go through a patient portal, sign up under your unique URL, And every patient who sells, we ship them directly, and then we pay you commission monthly on all sales that are shipped to the patients, because we tie ourselves to the chiropractic industry, because you guys do amazing work. You're helping out your patients every day, and we think that partnering with in the chiropractic space is critical to our long-term success. So any feedback or information, give me a call, give me an email, and would love to talk to you further.
Well, Joe, this has been very helpful information. And for the Whiplash Group, we've got medical doctors, chiropractors, and PTs that are in our space. And it's nice to have some tools that this works across the board for all of them. But obviously, our chiropractic physicians will be probably the most focused on this. Maybe some of the PTs. I love your idea with this, because in some states they can just have it on the shelf. So to have your patient walk out with it is fantastic. I love that you guys do so many samples, because docs, I would recommend, this is just me spitballing here, but if you had a prescription pad that maybe you give them the samples, because Joe's giving you samples to give to a patient who's walking out, they're having trouble sleep. Here's a little packet of the sleep gummies, or here's the how do you say it?
Tincture.
Here's the tincture drops for something that you want to help them with. If you've got some sort of samples to give them, and then say, here's the prescription pad, I'm recommending this with the Scantron that goes to your individual account with Sterling, where they can go order it and direct ship it straight online. You don't even have to carry the products in your office. So there's so many nice options that Joe has prepared for you.
Yeah, we want to make it easy for you to sell and help out your patients, and let us know how we can help. If you have any questions, about product, please reach out, and appreciate your time listening to the presentation today.
Great. And I do recommend, docs, that if you're teaching it, if you're learning how these products work enough, the biochemistry of how these work, if you're taking a time to, I don't want to say dummy it down, but simplify it, to explain it to your patients, and then giving them instructions of how frequently and how often to take it home. That's an ADL that when you're teaching them and coaching them how to do something at home. And then of course you need to follow up and make sure they're doing that right.